From shadows to stardom, Jamal Carter grew up in the heart of Detroit, where dreams often faded before they began. His neighborhood was a patchwork of cracked sidewalks, boarded-up homes, and whispers of what could have been. Jamal's life mirrored the streets he walked, hard, unforgiving, and full of doubt cast by those around him. But Jamal had one thing no one could take away, an inner voice that roared louder than the naysayers, the seed of a dream. Jamal's love for basketball started with a tattered ball his uncle gave him when he was 8. It wasn't much, just a faded leather orb with patches peeling off. But to Jamal, it was magic. The neighborhood court became his sanctuary, a place where the noise of the world faded and his inner voice spoke clearly. "You've got this," it would say every time he missed a shot. "Try again," it urged when his legs burned from exhaustion. His friends laughed at him for spending hours practicing on the uneven concrete court. "Jamal, you ain't got the height, the money, or the connections," one of them said. "You ain't going anywhere." But Jamal didn't argue. He just kept dribbling. High school humiliation. By the time Jamal made it to high school, he had honed his skills, but he was still overlooked. At barely 5'10" and wiry, he didn't turn heads. During tryouts for the varsity team, the coach barely glanced his way. "Kid, you're not cut out for this. Stick to something more realistic." Jamal was crushed but not broken. That night, he stood alone on the court, the winter air biting at his skin. Tears streamed down his face as he clutched the ball. "Maybe they're right," he muttered. "No, they're not," the voice inside him replied. "Prove them wrong." The turning point, Jamal trained harder than ever, waking up at 5 a.m. to run drills and staying up late to watch game tapes. His hard work began to pay off when he joined a local amateur league. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave him a platform. Scouts weren't attending, but the fire in his eyes drew attention from a few local coaches who saw something special. One night, during a game against the league's top team, Jamal scored 45 points. Word spread, and soon, a scout from a junior college came to see him play. It wasn't a Division I offer, but it was a shot. The grind Jamal spent 2 years at the junior college, transforming his body and perfecting his craft. He grew 2 inches, bulked up, and developed a killer three-point shot. His relentless work ethic became legendary. Coaches often found him in the gym long after practice ended, drenched in sweat, practicing the same move over and over. Despite his improvement, major college offers were scarce. "You're good, but not great," one coach told him. Jamal smiled. "Yet," he replied. The big break. His break came when he transferred to a mid-tier Division I school. In his senior year, Jamal exploded onto the scene, leading his team to a Cinderella run in the NCAA tournament. His tenacity, sharpshooting, and ability to rise under pressure earned him the nickname, the Grit King. By the time the NBA draft arrived, Jamal wasn't projected as a top pick. Pundits doubted his ability to adapt to the professional game. But when his name was called in the second round, Jamal clenched his fists, tears streaming down his face. He had made it, proving the doubters wrong. Jamal's rookie year was tough. He spent most of it on the bench, overshadowed by bigger names and higher picks. But he used every opportunity to prove himself. By his second season, he was a starter. By his third, he was an all-star. On the night he won his first championship, Jamal stood on the court, the crowd roaring around him. As he held the trophy high, he whispered to himself, "We did it." The voice inside him, the one that had never given up, replied, "Told you so." And for the first time, the world heard it too.